The galaxy froze as humanity's fleet entered the Warzone. Their power and precision unmatched, the enemy had no chance. Humans struck with unstoppable force, showing the universe that no challenge could defeat them. Enjoyed this epic battle? Subscribe now for more thrilling adventures across the stars. Humanity had always kept a careful watch on the stars, scanning the distant galaxies for signs of life or danger. For decades, astronomers and military satellites had been sending back reports of unusual activity in a remote star system. Something was moving there, something big, and its patterns did not match anything known to human science. Analysts at the United Earth Command noticed that entire planets seemed to be preparing for some sort of coordinated effort, and their conclusions were alarming. There was no question. A powerful alien force was assembling, and its intentions were clearly hostile. Governments across Earth convened emergency meetings as news of the potential threat spread quickly among top officials. Military leaders argued about the best course of action. Scientists emphasized the need for caution and intelligence gathering, and politicians worried about the consequences of direct confrontation. Meanwhile, citizens were unaware of the scale of the looming danger, living their daily lives while the leaders of humanity made plans that would shape the fate of millions. At the heart of the decision-making process was the newly built battle fleet, a collection of enormous ships designed for interstellar warfare. Each vessel was a marvel of engineering, some larger than small moons, armed with weapons that could level entire cities. The crew of these ships had been training for years, learning strategies and maneuvers that had only ever been tested in simulations. Now, they were preparing to face a threat far greater than anything they had imagined. Admiral Kellen, commander of the fleet, studied the reports with a mixture of awe and concern. He had witnessed humanity's technology advance rapidly over the past decades. But even he knew that facing an unknown alien force was different from anything seen in human history. Still, he was determined to act, knowing that hesitation could mean disaster. Orders were drafted and approved at the highest levels, and soon the fleet received the signal to mobilize. As the ships powered up their engines, lights blinking and energy coursing through their systems, the atmosphere among the crew was tense but focused. Engineers ran last-minute checks on weapons and shields, pilots reviewed their flight patterns and formations, and officers coordinated communication channels across the entire fleet. There was a silent understanding that this mission was more than just a deployment. It was humanity stepping into the unknown, facing a threat that could change the course of history. Meanwhile, scientists on Earth and aboard research stations in orbit monitored every detail of the distant star system, trying to understand the enemy's movements and technology. The aliens were unlike anything humans had encountered. Their ships were massive, their formations precise, and their energy signatures unfamiliar. But the more humanity learned, the more confidence grew that their own fleet was ready for the confrontation. The combination of intelligence, technology, and human courage made the leaders certain that action had to be taken immediately. Communication channels buzzed with updates as the fleet prepared for departure. Families of the crew watched from Earth, proud but anxious, knowing that their loved ones were about to embark on a mission that few had ever experienced. The scale of the operation was unprecedented, with hundreds of ships moving in coordinated formations, each one carrying the hope and responsibility of all humanity. Finally, the moment came when the fleet's engines roared to life, sending waves of energy across the void of space. Every ship aligned perfectly with its assigned trajectory, and the fleet began its journey toward the war zone. The enormity of the task ahead weighed heavily on everyone involved, but there was no turning back. Humanity had made its decision, and the call to arms had been answered with determination, courage, and unity. Every observer knew that the coming confrontation would test the limits of human ingenuity and bravery. The fleet moved steadily through space, unstoppable and resolute, carrying with it the dreams, fears, and hopes of an entire species. This was the moment when humanity stepped beyond its home planet to confront the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges awaited in the dark expanse of the stars. The engines hummed, the lights glowed, and the journey toward destiny had begun. As the fleet traveled through hyperspace, every crew member felt a mixture of excitement and tension. The stars outside blurred into long streaks of light, and the vast emptiness of space made the enormity of their mission even more real. Young officers watched the massive engines hum with power, feeling the vibration beneath their feet, while seasoned veterans checked systems and reviewed protocols with practiced precision. The fleet was alive with energy, each ship a fortress of technology and human ingenuity. In the command center of the flagship, Admiral Kellen observed the crew with a careful eye. He knew that every decision, every movement, could mean the difference between victory and disaster. Communication officers relayed updates from every ship. Sensors scanned the surrounding space for anomalies, and navigation teams ensured that the fleet remained on course for the war zone. The scale of coordination was unprecedented, and yet every crew member performed their duties with quiet focus. Scientists aboard research vessels monitored energy signatures, testing weapon systems and shielding technology. They ran simulations, adjusting parameters to see how the fleet could respond to unexpected threats. Engineers repaired minor malfunctions instantly, and programmers updated targeting algorithms in real time. Every small adjustment added to the fleet's overall readiness, and the crew felt a growing sense of confidence as they realized how prepared they were for the unknown. In the living quarters, young recruits shared stories of their training and their hopes for the mission. Some whispered about the fear of facing a superior alien force, while others spoke with excitement about witnessing history firsthand. Every conversation reminded them that they were part of something larger than themselves. A single misstep could cost lives, but together they formed a team that could achieve what had once seemed impossible. As the fleet approached the edge of the conflict zone, sensors picked up faint traces of the enemy, signals that had been undetectable until now. The ships adjusted their formations, moving silently and efficiently, ready to respond at a moment's notice. Pilots prepared for combat maneuvers, reviewing attack and defense strategies, while artillery officers calibrated weapons capable of destroying entire fleets in seconds. The tension was palpable, but so was determination. At night, or the closest approximation to night aboard these massive ships, crews gathered in observation decks to look out at the stars. Some found comfort in the beauty of the universe, while others pondered the challenges that awaited. The enormity of their task pressed on their minds, yet it also inspired them. They were about to confront a threat that no human had ever faced, and they carried the hopes of an entire species on their shoulders. Training exercises continued even as the fleet moved closer to the enemy territory. Small drones simulated attacks, testing the readiness of every pilot and officer. Engineers monitored every system for efficiency and stability, and scientists debated the possible tactics the alien forces might use. The preparation was relentless, but every crew member understood that these drills could mean the difference between life and death. The fleet was not just a collection of ships, it was a symbol of human determination, intelligence, and resilience. As the final hours of travel through hyperspace passed, anticipation grew. The first glimpse of the war zone would arrive soon, and with it, the reality of battle. Yet even in the quiet moments, the fleet moved as one, a vast, living organism made of steel, energy, and human spirit. Admiral Kellen felt the weight of history in every decision he made. Every crew member, from the highest officer to the youngest recruit, understood that they were on the edge of something monumental, something that would be remembered for generations. When the fleet finally exited hyperspace, the stars came back into sharp focus, revealing the vast battlefield ahead. Sensors lit up with data, showing enemy positions, formations, and possible weak points. The crew felt a surge of adrenaline and determination. Their training had prepared them for this exact moment. The engines thrummed, weapon systems were ready, and every human aboard knew that the time for preparation was over. The next actions they took would define the battle, and possibly the future of their species. The fleet moved forward with precision and unity, a testament to years of planning, training, and sacrifice. Every eye focused, every mind alert, and every heart beating with courage. Humanity had arrived at the edge of war, ready to unleash the full power of its technological and strategic might. The anticipation of the first engagement filled the ships, and as the stars stretched ahead, the crew knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The journey through hyperspace had ended, and the real challenge was about to begin. The fleet emerged from hyperspace into the war zone, and the first sight of the enemy fleet was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Hundreds of alien ships stretched across the void, their dark hulls glinting with strange energy. Each vessel moved with precision, maintaining formation as though every pilot was connected by a single thought. Sensors lit up with thousands of blips, showing fighters, cruisers, and massive capital ships. The scale of the enemy armada was unlike anything humans had ever faced, and for a moment, every member of the fleet felt the weight of what was to come. Admiral Kellen's voice cut through the command center, calm but firm, directing every ship into optimal formation. Pilots adjusted positions, artillery officers checked targeting arrays, and communication officers relayed messages across the fleet. Despite the fear and tension, there was a sense of unity and purpose. Every crew member understood their role, and they moved with practiced precision. The humans had trained for years, but nothing could truly prepare them for the sight of such a vast, organized enemy. The alien fleet sent out a series of signals, pulses of energy that flickered across communication channels. Analysts and linguists aboard the human ships worked frantically to decode them, but it quickly became clear that the messages were warnings, threats, and challenges all at once. The aliens were intelligent, highly organized, and confident in their own power. Yet humans did not hesitate. Their own strategies had been calculated, tested, and refined for this moment, and the fleet advanced steadily, showing no sign of fear. Scout ships flew ahead, probing the enemy lines, sending back real-time data about ship capabilities, formation weaknesses, and potential hazards. Commanders used this information to adjust attack strategies, ready to exploit any opening. Pilots prepared their fighter wings, coordinating intricate maneuvers that would allow them to strike precisely while avoiding enemy fire. Every member of the fleet understood that timing and coordination were critical, and mistakes could be deadly. As the human fleet moved closer, alien ships began to react, adjusting formations, deploying defensive shields, and launching small skirmishers to test the humans. Skirmishes erupted in pockets, brief but intense, giving the humans a glimpse of the enemy's tactics and technology. Missiles streaked through space, energy beams lit up the void, and fighters darted in complex patterns. Yet the humans remained steady, observing, analyzing, and responding with precision. Every maneuver was calculated, every shot deliberate, and every officer aware of the broader battle plan. In the observation decks, crews watched as the alien fleet revealed its full scale, massive capital ships bristling with weapons and smaller ships swarming like coordinated swarms of predators. The humans realized that their opponents were formidable, but they also recognized a critical advantage: human adaptability and strategy. Machines could be powerful, but human ingenuity, courage, and teamwork could outmatch even the most advanced alien technology. The realization gave the crew confidence and focus, sharpening their resolve to act decisively. Back in the command centers, analysts worked non-stop, identifying priority targets and calculating optimal attack vectors. Ships were repositioned, weapons powered up, and shields reinforced. Every step was synchronized across the fleet, creating a single, unstoppable force. Crew members silently acknowledged the tension and the gravity of the moment, but they also felt excitement, a sense of participating in a battle that would be remembered for generations. As the fleets drew closer, the alien armada attempted to intimidate with sudden displays of power. Beams of energy flashed across the void, warning humans of their might. But the human fleet continued forward, engines roaring, weapons primed, and minds focused. The aliens could see the formation, the coordination, and the unwavering advance of the human ships. They realized that this battle would not be easy, and yet humans showed no hesitation, signaling that they were ready to act. Every crew member felt the tension tighten, knowing that the next moments could decide the fate of both civilizations. Scouts reported enemy vulnerabilities. Pilots made final adjustments, and Admiral Kellen prepared to give the first strike order. The silence before the battle was filled with anticipation, courage, and determination. As humans stared across the war zone, they knew that they were not just facing an enemy. They were stepping into history, ready to demonstrate the full might of humanity in a way the galaxy had never seen before. Without hesitation, Admiral Kellen gave the order to unleash the fleet's main weapons. Energy beams surged from the planet-sized ships, cutting through the darkness of space with terrifying precision. Every target identified by analysts was struck simultaneously, and alien ships began to explode in brilliant flashes of light. Smaller fighters disintegrated instantly, and even the largest capital ships shuddered under the onslaught. Crew members watched from observation decks as years of preparation and training manifested into unstoppable power. Pilots maneuvered their fighter wings through the chaos, weaving between debris and dodging retaliatory fire. Their coordination was flawless, each squadron supporting the others, ensuring maximum damage to the enemy while minimizing risk to themselves. Artillery officers adjusted firing patterns in real time, targeting ships attempting to regroup, while engineers monitored energy outputs to maintain peak weapon performance. The fleet was a single, cohesive force, every part working in perfect harmony. Alien commanders scrambled to respond, but the human attack was overwhelming. Their defensive shields flickered and failed under the sustained bombardment. Missiles were intercepted too late, and energy weapons could not withstand the precise human targeting. Confusion spread through the alien lines as capital ships exploded one after another. Smaller vessels collided or were destroyed before they could react, and the alien fleet's formation collapsed into chaos. The humans had struck with speed, coordination, and calculated power that left the enemy unable to respond. On board the human ships, crew members felt a mix of adrenaline and awe. Watching entire enemy formations disappear within seconds was unlike anything they had imagined. Young recruits whispered in disbelief, while seasoned officers focused on ensuring that the attack continued smoothly. Every sensor and communication channel was alive with data, showing the full extent of the destruction and allowing commanders to adjust strategies instantaneously. Humanity's preparation and ingenuity were proving decisive. In the midst of battle, drones and scout ships moved among the wreckage, scanning for survivors or remaining threats. Analysts used this data to identify potential hidden enemy units, while targeting systems recalibrated to engage any remaining hostile ships. Even as destruction raged around them, human crews maintained discipline and focus, knowing that complete control over the battle required constant attention and precise execution. The fleet was not just destroying the enemy. It was learning and adapting in real time, a living, intelligent force. Observers on nearby planets or in distant space stations could see the brilliance of the battle. Massive explosions lighting up the void, debris scattering like glitter, and energy beams cutting through the darkness. Reports sent back to Earth and allied systems detailed the efficiency and power of humanity's strike, reinforcing the reputation of humans as a force capable of unmatched technological and strategic dominance. The scale of destruction left no doubt. Humanity had achieved what few could imagine, obliterating a formidable enemy almost instantly. Even with the alien fleet's collapse, human crews remained vigilant, scanning for hidden threats or reinforcements. Weapon systems were powered down selectively, shields maintained at full capacity, and reconnaissance drones continued to patrol the battlefield. Every officer understood the importance of completing the operation without errors. Every pilot, engineer, and analyst worked seamlessly, ensuring that no detail was overlooked and that the victory would be total and undeniable. Amidst the flashes and explosions, human morale soared. Knowing that they had executed a flawless strike against a dangerous enemy filled everyone with pride. Yet there was no room for arrogance. Commanders reminded crews to maintain vigilance, as other alien forces might observe and learn. Humanity's fleet had demonstrated overwhelming power, but the responsibility that came with it was immense. The crew's focus remained unwavering, prepared to act again if needed. As the battle drew to its end, the remnants of the alien fleet drifted in silence, smoldering wrecks illuminated by the remaining energy beams of human weapons. The fleet had achieved total dominance, and the war zone was under human control. Crew members allowed themselves brief moments of relief, watching as the coordinated attack unfolded perfectly. Every officer, pilot, and engineer had contributed to a victory that would be remembered for generations. Humanity had not only survived the encounter, they had demonstrated that they could dominate any challenge. The humans had entered the war zone with precision, strategy, and courage, and had obliterated the enemy almost instantly. Energy hums faded to steady levels, ships adjusted positions, and communication channels began reporting status and damage assessments. The fleet remained vigilant, but for the first time, crews could reflect on the sheer scale of their accomplishment. Humanity had proven its strength, ingenuity, and unity, and the galaxy had seen the full power of a prepared and determined human race. Panic spread quickly through the alien fleet as their massive ships were destroyed one after another. Command structures collapsed as key leaders were eliminated, and smaller vessels floundered without coordination. Confusion turned into chaos as remaining alien fighters scrambled to avoid the relentless attacks of humanity's fleet. Missiles streaked through space, energy beams cut across the void, and explosions lit up the battlefield. The aliens had underestimated human strategy, speed, and precision, and now they were paying the ultimate price. On board human ships, crew members watched the enemy crumble with a mixture of awe and satisfaction. Pilots relayed reports of enemy ships being obliterated instantly. Engineers monitored weapon efficiency, and communication officers coordinated final strikes on remaining targets. Every member of the fleet knew that their training and preparation had made this victory possible. The coordinated assault left the aliens no time to regroup or mount any meaningful resistance, and humanity's tactical advantage became clearer with each passing moment. The alien fighters attempted desperate maneuvers, darting through debris fields and firing sporadically at human vessels. But human pilots anticipated these moves. Adjusting formations with split-second timing, fighters swarmed, flanking the enemy, and capital ships fired precise volleys, cutting down threats before they could escape. Every action reinforced the dominance of humanity's fleet, showing that strategy and coordination could outmatch even the most advanced alien technology. On the observation decks, crews could see the scale of the destruction. Enormous ships exploding, smaller vessels scattering like frightened insects, and entire fleets dissolving in seconds. Scientists and analysts aboard research vessels quickly collected data from the battlefield, scanning debris for technology, energy signatures, and intelligence. Even in the midst of chaos, humans remained focused, turning the destruction into an opportunity to learn about alien tactics and capabilities. Each crew member understood the importance of fully securing the war zone. Alien command ships attempted to rally remaining forces, issuing orders and coordinating retreats, but their messages were slow and fragmented. Confusion among the ranks caused collisions and further loss of ships. The sheer force and precision of human attacks left the aliens no room for recovery, and panic became widespread. Even the most disciplined alien units struggled to maintain cohesion, while humans advanced with calculated control, exploiting every weakness with exact timing. From distant planets and stations, observers saw the destruction unfold, noting the efficiency and scale of humanity's strike. Every explosion, every disintegrated ship reinforced the reality that human technology and strategy were unmatched. Civilians and military personnel alike understood that humanity had proven itself in a way that would alter galactic perception forever. The aliens' collapse was not just a tactical victory. It was a statement of dominance and capability. Back in the command centers, officers coordinated the final phases of the battle, ensuring that no enemy ships remained operational. Pilots swept the battlefield for stragglers. Weapons officers calculated energy requirements for continued engagement. And engineers maintained systems under full load. Humanity had to be thorough, leaving no chance for any surviving enemy to regroup and pose a threat. The meticulous approach ensured that the victory would be complete and lasting. Amid the destruction, human morale surged, pride and relief mingling in every heart. Crews felt the weight of their accomplishment, knowing that their actions had secured not only victory in this battle, but also the safety of countless lives on nearby planets and colonies. Celebrations were muted but sincere, as every officer and soldier recognized the gravity of what they had achieved. The battle was intense, terrifying, and overwhelming. Yet human coordination and courage had turned chaos into triumph. As the final remnants of the alien fleet were neutralized, silence spread across the battlefield, broken only by the hum of human engines and the crackle of communications. Debris floated in the void, lit by distant flashes of energy, and the once feared armada was reduced to fragments. The victory was total, leaving humanity's fleet in complete control of the war zone. Crew members allowed themselves brief moments to absorb the magnitude of the destruction, understanding that their decisive actions had changed the course of the conflict forever. Humanity's forces had faced a vast, formidable enemy and had dismantled it almost instantly. The efficiency, precision, and coordination of the fleet had turned potential disaster into an overwhelming triumph. Every crew member understood that this victory was not only about firepower, it was about intelligence, preparation, teamwork, and courage. The aliens' panic and collapse had revealed that human strategy and technology could dominate any opponent, and the war zone now stood as a testament to the power and resilience of humanity. Once the alien fleet had been obliterated, human crews turned their attention to securing the war zone and assessing the aftermath. Scout ships and drones swept across the battlefield, scanning debris fields and wreckage for any signs of survivors or hidden threats. Analysts worked quickly to catalog destroyed ships, energy signatures, and technology. Every piece of data collected helped build a clearer picture of the enemy's capabilities, weaknesses, and strategies. The humans had not only won the battle, but were now learning everything they could from it. Command centers aboard the flagship and support vessels were buzzing with activity. Officers compiled detailed reports on the performance of weapons, shields, and ship coordination. Engineers reviewed system efficiency during combat, and scientists analyzed the alien technology that had survived. The precision and timing of humanity's attacks had provided a perfect opportunity to gather intelligence, and commanders knew that understanding their enemy fully could prevent future conflicts. Pilots and fighter squadrons continued patrolling the war zone, ensuring that no remnants of the alien fleet remained hidden. Smaller vessels and capital ships moved carefully among the debris, collecting data and securing the area. Communications relayed updates from distant observation posts and nearby planets, confirming that the immediate threat had been neutralized. Despite the destruction, human crews remained alert, knowing that vigilance was essential even after such a decisive victory. Back on Earth and allied colonies, leaders and civilians followed reports closely. Relief and pride spread as news of humanity's flawless victory reached every corner of the system. Analysts compared intelligence from the battlefield with earlier predictions, noting how accurately the fleet had executed every phase of the plan. The operation became a case study in strategy, coordination, and technological superiority, showing how preparation and unity could achieve what once seemed impossible. Debris from destroyed enemy ships was carefully examined, revealing insights into alien energy systems, weapon designs, and navigation methods. Scientists and engineers documented every finding, considering how it could influence future human technology. Even the smallest piece of wreckage provided critical information about alien tactics and resilience. This post-battle analysis allowed humans to not only secure victory, but also to grow stronger and more prepared for future encounters. Crew members took brief moments to reflect on the battle. Their fatigue mixed with satisfaction. Observation decks offered views of the battlefield, where twisted wrecks and glowing debris marked the locations of once mighty enemy ships. Discussions among officers focused on lessons learned and adjustments for future operations. While the battle had been swift and decisive, humans recognized the need to remain vigilant. Understanding the enemy fully was just as important as defeating them. Diplomatic and military leaders used the intelligence gathered to prepare for possible responses from other civilizations. It became clear that news of humanity's overwhelming power would travel quickly, prompting nearby alien civilizations to reconsider their approach. Commanders emphasized the importance of readiness, ensuring that the fleet could respond to any potential threat. The war zone assessment was not just about past victory, it was preparation for future challenges. Meanwhile, engineers and technicians worked tirelessly to repair minor damage to ships, recalibrate systems, and optimize weapons for continued readiness. Fighter squadrons conducted training exercises within the secured zone, maintaining sharp skills while gathering further intelligence. Every crew member contributed to ensuring that the fleet remained fully operational and capable of responding instantly. Humanity had proven its dominance, but the lessons of vigilance, preparation, and adaptability were clear. Reports from human scanners indicated that the alien forces had left no active threats behind, but commanders did not allow complacency. Continuous surveillance ensured that any hidden units or reinforcements would be detected immediately. Coordinated sweeps and data collection became routine, allowing humans to map every detail of the battlefield. The completeness of this operation reinforced the fleet's efficiency, discipline, and professionalism, demonstrating that human strategy extended beyond raw firepower. As the final assessments were completed, it became evident that the battle had been a turning point, not only in terms of immediate victory, but also in shaping humanity's role in the galaxy. Intelligence gathered from the wreckage promised technological advancements, strategic insight, and preparation for future conflicts. Human crews understood that their actions today would influence generations, securing both safety and reputation. The Warzone, once a place of potential disaster, now stood as a testament to human planning, coordination, and foresight. Humanity had not only destroyed a powerful enemy fleet, but had done so while gaining knowledge, improving readiness, and establishing control over the battlefield. Every ship, officer, and pilot had contributed to a victory that was absolute. And yet the emphasis on careful analysis and preparation ensured that this triumph would have long-lasting impact. The Warzone assessment confirmed that humanity's dominance was not just in strength, but also in intelligence, strategy, and the ability to learn from every encounter. Leaders on Earth and across allied colonies hailed the human fleet as heroes. Their swift and decisive victory against a vast alien armada had captured the attention of the entire galaxy. News of the triumph spread quickly, with governments, media, and civilians celebrating humanity's unprecedented achievement. People listened in awe to reports of how hundreds of enemy ships had been obliterated almost instantly. Analysts emphasized the skill, preparation, and coordination that had made the victory possible, and admiration for the fleet's crews grew rapidly. In the fleets themselves, crew members received messages of praise and gratitude from Earth. Families celebrated the bravery of their loved ones. Relief and pride mingled with exhaustion, and officers reflected on the magnitude of what had been accomplished. Every pilot, engineer, and scientist understood that they had participated in a historic moment. The battle was not only a victory in war, but also a demonstration of human ingenuity and determination on a scale the galaxy had never seen. Historians began documenting the events as they unfolded, recording every detail of the fleet's actions, strategy, and technology. Scholars debated the implications of humanity's power, noting how decisiveness and preparation had tipped the scales in such a short time. Lessons from the battle were taught in academies and military training centers, ensuring that future generations would understand the importance of unity, intelligence, and courage. The victory became more than a battle. It became a symbol of human potential and resilience. Across colonies and space stations, celebrations continued, but they were tempered by reflection. Leaders reminded citizens that while the threat had been eliminated, other civilizations were undoubtedly observing. Assessments emphasized that humanity's demonstration of power would alter interstellar relations, and caution was advised to avoid unnecessary provocations. Diplomats worked to convey messages of peace while maintaining strength, ensuring that humans were respected and feared as a dominant force. Crew members aboard the fleet were given rest and recovery time, but their training and readiness remained a priority. Engineers conducted repairs and maintenance, scientists analyzed collected intelligence, and pilots refined their tactics. Despite the glory of victory, discipline and preparation were still emphasized. Humanity had shown its power, but it also understood the responsibility that came with it. Every individual knew that future challenges could arrive at any moment, and the lessons learned today would be vital for survival. Debriefings and evaluations reinforced the importance of coordination and strategy. Officers shared experiences and insights, discussing how every decision had contributed to the successful outcome. The fleet had not only destroyed the enemy, but had done so with efficiency and precision that left no room for error. Communication between ships and command centers was strengthened, and new protocols were established to improve readiness for any future conflict. The victory was celebrated, but preparation remained a priority. Civilians and military personnel alike were inspired by the demonstration of humanity's capability. Young students dreamed of joining the fleet, scientists imagined new innovations, and leaders felt a renewed sense of purpose. Stories of bravery and skill spread across colonies, fostering pride and unity. The battle had shown that humans could achieve the impossible when they combined intelligence, courage, and teamwork, and this inspired generations to come. As time passed, monuments and memorials were planned to honor those who had fought and those who had sacrificed. Humanity recognized that the victory was built not just on technology, but on the dedication and bravery of its people. Crews who had been at the forefront of the battle were celebrated as living symbols of resilience, skill, and courage. Their actions would be remembered as the defining moment when humanity stepped confidently into the galactic stage. Political and military leaders also used the victory to strengthen alliances. Sharing intelligence and demonstrating strength reassured allies while warning potential adversaries of humanity's capabilities. Negotiations and treaties took into account the overwhelming power that had been displayed. And diplomacy was shaped by the understanding that humanity could defend itself decisively. The demonstration of dominance thus had both immediate and long-term strategic effects. Even as celebrations continued, crews aboard the fleet quietly reflected on the future. They knew that this victory was only one battle in a larger universe filled with unknown threats. Preparation, vigilance, and unity remained crucial. The pride of victory was tempered by understanding that humanity must remain ever ready. The fleet's triumph had secured not just the battlefield, but also humanity's reputation, shaping a new era where humans were respected and feared across the stars. Humanity's forces had proven that courage, planning, and skill could overcome even the most formidable enemies. Leaders and civilians alike celebrated the achievement, while fleets and colonies prepared for a future where vigilance would remain as important as strength. The victory became a defining moment, a symbol of what humans could accomplish together, and a lesson in responsibility, strategy, and resilience that would guide the species for generations. Though the immediate threat had been eliminated, human commanders knew that the galaxy would remember the demonstration of power. Other civilizations would observe the swift and overwhelming victory, taking note of humanity's capabilities. Strategists emphasized that vigilance was essential, as enemies might regroup, learn from the battle, or form alliances. The fleet remained on high alert even as it returned toward human-controlled space, ensuring that any unforeseen threats could be met without delay. Training programs were expanded across fleets and colonies. New recruits learned not only combat tactics, but also the importance of coordination, strategy, and adaptability. Experienced pilots and officers shared first-hand accounts of the battle, teaching lessons that could not be learned from simulations alone. The emphasis was on readiness, preparing humanity to respond to any future challenge quickly and decisively. Knowledge from the destroyed alien fleet was incorporated into both training and technological development, strengthening human forces for the next confrontation. Research and development teams worked tirelessly to integrate recovered alien technology with human systems. Engineers studied energy patterns, shield designs, and propulsion mechanisms, seeking ways to enhance human ships. Scientists analyzed alien communication and navigation systems to predict how future enemies might act. The intelligence gathered from the Warzone became a cornerstone for innovation, turning the experience of battle into a lasting advantage. Humanity was not only victorious, but also growing stronger and more prepared. Diplomatic channels were active as well. With news of humanity's decisive victory spreading, allies and neutral civilizations reached out. Some sought cooperation. Others cautiously observed, and some reconsidered aggressive plans. Human diplomats balanced strength with prudence, demonstrating that while humanity could dominate in war, it preferred stability and strategic alliances. The victory had reshaped interstellar relations, establishing humans as a power that others respected and feared. The fleet returned to Earth and allied bases, where crews received honors and commendations. Celebrations were widespread but tempered with reflection. Leaders and citizens alike understood that with great power came great responsibility. Training, Preparation and vigilance would remain essential even in peacetime. Officers and crew members were celebrated as heroes, but they were reminded that the galaxy remained unpredictable and future threats could appear without warning. Fleet maintenance and upgrades began immediately. Even ships that had not sustained major damage were carefully inspected, weapons systems recalibrated, shields enhanced, and engines tested for efficiency. Pilots conducted exercises to sharpen reflexes and coordination, while scientists and engineers prepared new strategies based on intelligence gathered from the alien fleet. The goal was clear: maintain superiority while preparing for whatever the galaxy might throw at humanity next. The story of the battle spread across colonies, inspiring generations. Young people dreamed of joining the fleet, studying science and engineering, and becoming part of humanity's expanding presence in the stars. Civilian and military morale soared, fostering unity and pride. The battle had proven what humans could achieve when courage, intelligence, and teamwork combined, and it became a guiding example for all future endeavors. Commanders held strategic briefings to anticipate potential future conflicts. Discussing hypothetical scenarios, they planned responses to other civilizations that might be tempted to challenge humanity. Lessons from the Warzone were incorporated into fleet doctrine, emphasizing speed, precision, and adaptability. The emphasis was on ensuring that humanity would never be caught unprepared, and that every officer, pilot, and soldier would be ready to respond effectively. Even as the fleet rested and repaired, vigilance remained a priority. Scouts continued monitoring distant regions of space, and intelligence networks expanded. Ensuring early detection of threats became a permanent aspect of human strategy. The victory had proven that humanity could dominate the battlefield, but it had also shown the importance of foresight, preparation, and constant awareness. Every action taken after the battle reflected this understanding, strengthening humanity's position in the galaxy. Ultimately, humanity had secured not only the Warzone, but also its reputation. The display of overwhelming power and precision had shown the galaxy that humans were a force to be reckoned with. Yet, the experience had also taught humility and responsibility, reminding every officer and leader that preparation and vigilance must continue even in times of peace. The fleet returned as both saviors and guardians, ready for new challenges, and the lessons of the battle would guide humanity's growth and strategy for generations to come. Humanity had demonstrated that courage, intelligence, and unity could achieve the impossible. The Warzone had been secured, alliances strengthened, and technology advanced. But most importantly, humans had learned that power must always be matched by preparation, vigilance, and responsibility. As the fleet sailed home, engines humming and weapon systems at the ready, humanity stood prepared to face the future, knowing that the galaxy would never underestimate them again.